Hey everybody, it's Paul. How's it going? Yeah, I'm flying solo for a bit. Jenny might be here a little bit later. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Um, so yeah, she and Greta were out running around and doing stuff. I think Greta got a start on a huge tattoo today. So we'll see if Jenny shows up or not. Just depends on how Greta's feeling. But I'm here. We're gonna do Bristlecone Pine. So this is actually kind of a reboot of a painting we did, oh, maybe around 2018, thereabouts. Bristlecone pines are really cool. They only exist in one part of a park in California. Good evening, Marlene. It's good to see you. Um, and they're the oldest known organisms on the face of the planet. One of the trees they believe is to about 5,000 to 6,000 years old, and it's pretty crazy. They, hey Sid, the bristlecones look dead, but if you look close, they'll have like a couple little tufts of pine needles and a couple spots, and that's how you know they're alive. Um, in fact, the one that's considered to be the oldest is so highly protected they don't tell people which one it is because they don't want anybody messing with it. And I need to go get a glasses wipe real quick. Hold on just a second. Stare at our beautiful, oh, I didn't turn the lights on. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do without Jenny here. That's just kind of like life as a whole, isn't it? I'm tripping over things. Let's see, that worked. Okay, cool. Anyway, thanks for joining us on short notice on a Friday night. We've kind of had some crazy times going on, but when do we not? That's kind of us in a nutshell. So, let's switch the camera. I'm gonna have to switch seats. So I'm back. Hello, actually, I'm gonna wash my glasses. Hi, Connie. Hi, echoing. Well, I'm in a warehouse, so we get echo. Um, I don't know, unless you're getting like where it's double kicking. Is anybody else getting that? So a lot of times that's not anything I can control. That's just YouTube and their feed. Yeah, just washing my glasses. My eyes have been changing really fast lately, guys, the last year, and I have to go in and get new glasses again. And the fun thing is insurance doesn't cover it because it hasn't been a year yet. So woohoo! That's right. Luckily, it's not too expensive. All right, I'm going to switch over to painting cam. There we go. And I haven't set up my palette yet. So I'm going to set it up while you guys watch. And so that way we can talk about what colors. Shake it up. So we're going to have some white. Ooh, that's clogged. Hold on, I got to get creative here. What was that? All right. I got this, you guys. I'm still here, don't worry. I'm just bouncing around like a chaotic, crazy man that I am. Woohoo, crazy. Okay. Let's see if that helps. All right. Oh, there we go. White. It was the paint. I swear it wasn't me. Black. Sometimes you got to do that. There we go. Doesn't need a lot of black. There we go. So white and black. We have raw sienna or yellow ochre. I like that this bottle says fresh as of 12/2. Got that. We got Phthalo Red or Magenta Works. I think this is a brand new. Yeah, so we get to open this one up. So I'm glad you guys are all here hanging out with me tonight. Otherwise, it'd be really lonely. Oh, to have no co-pilot. All right, let's take that off. Go with a little bit of Phthalo Red. Again, you could use magenta as well. Since we've switched and don't do the subscription boxes anymore, I always just like to tell people, you know, whatever colors you have are what works. Whoa, that does not sound good. Let me go see if I can find a different blue. That sounds like water, and it smells like a porta potty. So let me see if I can find a different Phthalo Blue. Hold on just a second. So what happens sometimes with these colors, guys, is they oxidize in their bottles, and they can separate, but mostly they oxidize and then they smell horrific. We had a painting class once for a corporate event, and I kept thinking that the guy in the front row was having some gas. Turns out it was the paint, but I suspect he probably thought I was having some issues. So it was really probably pretty awkward for both of us. There we go. All right. What a fun live stream. Here, stare at my half-filled palette. All right, you guys, audio sounds all good for everybody else? There we go. We got colors. Yep, that smells great. Okay, so let's take a look at the original painting. Let's look at it up close. I've got this here. And this is, the original painting was super vibrant. Like really, really like over the top, crazy vibrant. And that's fine, that's fun. But I've been kind of more into a, you know, what looks more subdued. And so I actually went for kind of a hazy, misty kind of day with this, where the tree really has a chance to stand out. And there's things going on in the background. I know everybody's like, yay, Paul's teaching clouds again. Woohoo. Yeah, that's all right, you guys. We'll be fine. We'll get it. The way you get good at it is you keep doing it, and sometimes it's not as easy to start with. So, speaking of starting, let's go back over our colors again, because I know that was really distracting. And oh, almost spilled. Okay, I've got white, black, Phthalo Blue, raw Sienna, and Phthalo Red, and I need paper towel. You guys, I really like these blue shop towels. Usually you can get them at Home Depot or any place like that, and I just kind of like the way they work for cleaning paintbrushes. They're thick, they're sturdy, they're absorbent, they don't break on you. All right, so cheers, everybody. Let's get started. So I'm gonna put that off to the side, and what we're gonna start off with is we're gonna start off with our sky. And to do our sky, you guys let me know if it's in focus. Again, my glasses are not right now, so I'm having a hard time telling if it's in focus. It should be, it's on autofocus. So for the sky, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our Phthalo Blue and some white. And I want to add just the tiniest dot of our Phthalo Red. I always will do a little bit of something to offset the blueness. I'm going to add just a little bit more white. And I'm just going to start off up in the top corner here. And I want this to think about like we're kind of going at an angle. But I'm going to be, just kind of going to go about like that. I'm going to be all about texture and letting this be rough and uneven. Let me ask you guys real quick. It looks to me like the camera is kind of jumpy. Does that look right? Look like it to you guys too? I can't tell, but it looks a little like it's lagging a bit or something. Says it's good. Good. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. So, get some of this blue on here. Kind of let it break up into the to the right. It's good? Okay, cool. Cool. You guys get to be my eyes today. So, all right. So, I'm going to take some white now. I'm not going to rinse my brush or anything. And I'm just going to kind of brush in this corner. This is going to eventually going to be kind of like a light source right in here. A little bit more vibrant brew. That would be a really cool name for a beer. Like maybe get some of that. There's that kind of tea that you can make that makes everything bright blue. We could make some beer that uses some of that. Well, I can't remember what it's called. And we can call it Vibrant Brew. Okay. Again, don't feel like you need to blend too much. Might be a little bit too dark, but I think it's okay. I'm not going to worry about it too much. You guys know me. Never worry about it. We aren't going to worry about the progress. We're just going to accomplish, and that's all we're going to work on tonight. It's just accomplishing. So, what does that mean? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm going to go grab my phone. Make sure Jenny's not trying to get a hold of me. It's charging, so. Yep, nope, nothing. It's all right, we'll survive. We've been teaching a lot of in-person classes in the Portland area. Taught 3 last weekend. We're doing 2 this weekend. And it's been kind of nice to reconnect with people and get to see people in person. And it's amazing how different the teaching process is online versus in person. I feel like the online is as far as learning how to paint, the online is far superior. Because you really get to see what's going on versus sitting across a room. And sometimes we'll put the camera in if we're doing small things, but it's a bit of a process to that. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit more of our phthalo, and let's add just a touch of our raw sienna. Because what we're mixing up right now is we're mixing our cloud color. You can add a little tiny dab of black. The black goes a long way, so be careful. Be careful. There we go. Now all of this stuff we're going to think about, we're going to be lightening it up as we go. So at first it's going to seem really dark. And I'm going to, actually, if I look at the original, this actually comes along the horizon line, a fair clip. And I'll zoom this in a little bit so you guys can see it up close. There we go. Let this edge be broken. Let there be little wisps and chops. I'm going to go ahead and brush through here. And you don't have to be super solid with this. Just kind of get some of this color along the edge. I don't know if you guys can hear. The neighbor decided he needed to pressure wash cars, so I get to listen to a pressure washer. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. It's like, gee, thanks, man. Gee, thanks. It's a business park. You're pressure washing it. Almost 6 o'clock on a Friday night. Go home to your family. It's a holiday weekend. Take your camper. Go someplace. Quit pressure washing. Okay. I'm joking. All right. All right. So as I work away, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. As I work up into this corner, I feel like I want it to kind of be a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab some white, just straight white. Kind of choppy blend. We'll call it, that's a good term, choppy blend. Where you want to kind of like, want things to kind of interact with each other, soften up a bit, but you don't want to lose that there's brushwork and texture, especially when you're working on clouds. I think that's the one thing people do with clouds a little bit too much is they blend things out. And clouds are kind of like snow. You got highlights and you got shadows, and you don't have a lot else going on. So I am having a beverage. I'm going to give you my review on it real quick. I'm having Clubtail's Blue Hawaiian. Juicy pineapple and coconut flavors deliver the perfect tropical cocktail. I beg to differ. In the state of Oregon, unless you go to a liquor store, you go to a grocery store, you get what they make things like this, and it's a malt beverage, or it's made with wine. And it does not taste that good. It's not awful. I would probably not ever stock the fridge with it, though, if you know what I'm saying. All right. Just going to leave that like that. I am going to take a little bit more white now, and I'm just going to bring this up into here. Just softening, lightening this up. I want this to be pretty bright. We'll do more later when it gets to dry a bit. I'm going to bring this down a little bit further down through here. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So I'm going to let this sit. I'm going to show you some, actually maybe let's take a little bit more of our cloud color real quick and just kind of just soften this up a bit. There we go. Just kind of took my lighter cloud color and just kind of zip banged it into there, soften that edge up so it's not so intense. Like one of the things that I try to avoid is when especially you're talking about the background areas like this, you don't really want to get too, you don't want it to be too intense because you don't want to lose the foreground into the background. You don't want to lose your focal piece into the background. So being a little bit softer, a little more subdued, it's a good thing. All right, so while this is still kind of wet a little bit, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this in here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to work on our back trees. So the original painting we did, I had this like in a lake, and honestly, there's no lakes where these are. It's literally desert. That's why they have so little foliage on them, is they just have enough to, I guess, absorb a little bit of sunlight. but it's very high desert. I think it's a very high elevation. Let me look and see. What would we be without having interesting factoids? Let's see, Bristlecone Pine. They're really cool looking, guys. Look them up on YouTube. Like, look at this picture. I mean, that's amazing. Here's another one. That one's got a little bit more foliage, but let's see what we can find out. What was I looking up? The oldest known living bristlecone's name is Methuselah. It's estimated to be 4,800 years old. They grow 15 to 50 feet tall. What elevation? They thrive at elevations between 9,000 and 11,000 feet. That's incredible, honestly. So it's for those of us in Portland, 11,000 feet is basically the height of Mount Hood. Oh, what happened? Okay, Mount Hood's 11,249 feet. So to think that, you know, there's areas down in California where they're at, where you get down in the Sierra Nevadas and they're much higher elevation, but it's like the whole area's taller. So it doesn't, like, it's not like Mount Hood, where Mount Hood's like just stands out above everything else. Lakes. Cool. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up a little bit of a color. That I'm going to take a little bit of our raw sienna, and I'm just kind of mixing in the same spot because we're still just kind of the same tone. Little raw sienna, a little phthalo blue. Let's add a little tiny bit of phthalo red. I'm going to add a little bit more phthalo blue. There we go. There we go. Now we're talking. And I think I'm going to add just a touch of black because I do want this to be a little bit darker. And we can always soften this up. So I'm just going to start right along this. That's pretty dark. That's all right. Go right along this bottom edge. Oh, now I added a little white and it's not dark enough. Okay. Fine, I see how the paint's going to play tonight. So you guys, oh, I just heard a car door. Might be my partner in crime, we'll see. There we go. So it's just got to be a little darker than your sky. It is. It's the Miss Jenny. She's here. She doesn't know it yet, but we're going to go out for drinks after this. She deserves it. All right. So I've kind of got a hard line with this right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to wipe off excess paint. Hi, Jenny. How are you? You have not really, but Westland to Newburgh is not that bad. They're both open, so I mean they're both closed. So whichever one you want. Are you gonna paint? Okay. So I'm trying to soften this edge up, and the way I'm doing that is I'm wiping off excess paint. I've got my brush turned. I can zoom in. Neighbor is pressure washing, Jenny. Yay, thank you. And I'm okay if this like side over here kind of gets a little bit lost into the clouds. The original, I had the clouds a little bit lighter at this point, but I'm okay with there being a blurred reality of where one starts and the other one ends. Again, I'm not really worried about it looking like trees. You could take your brush and kind of add a couple more specific looking trees if you wanted to. But again, we don't want this background to dominate. We just don't want it to look non-existent either. So I did something unique tonight, Jenny. I set up my palette on screen because I had to hit start. It was time to go. And I'm just going to take this color now. Blend it down. How's Greta doing?
Fine.
How much did they do today? That's a lot. Well, that's not too bad. Greta starts their tattoo school on Monday. And went in and got the welcome to the club tattoo. Or welcome to the team. That's kind of what I'd call it, wouldn't you? Did it cost more than what we thought? No. Oh, okay. We're hoping that the guy who is working on her tattoo today ends up being her.
He will be one of her.
Well, we're hoping that he'll be the primary one.
I don't know that there is a primary.
Oh, really?
Why are you using these colors?
That's what we had. Which is not here. We made do. The Phthalo Blue, the big jug of it, was scary. It was like water.
Oh, weird.
And smelled like a porta potty. So maybe it's just that blue stuff that they put in porta potties.
This little jar.
Yeah. That's all you're missing. Okay. Yeah, that's all you're missing.
Oh my gosh.
There's your microphone. Is it turned on? It's not turned on.
I can turn it on.
You guys probably can't even hear Jenny, and here I'm having this whole conversation with her. So unprofessional. I feel so much more balanced now.
Paul just talks to himself.
It's kind of not too bad.
Hello, everyone.
Nobody making fun of me.
Where would you be without me to make fun of you?
Probably being made fun of by somebody else. Yeah, even that one's a little ripe.
A little bit. The Phthalo Blue is one of the quicker ones to turn. I'm using a little canvas because that's all I saw over there, but that's okay.
There's a whole box right there.
I know it. I just figured it'd be nice to use it.
Yeah.
Something.
Do it. Doesn't matter. Work with what you got. I think Connie's in tonight.
Oh, hi.
And I think isn't Connie one of the ones that just uses whatever?
Yeah. Connie paints on lots
Like
of wood rounds and all kinds of stuff. Hi,
Yeah.
Marlene.
We definitely noticed
Hope
these
you've been
things.
well. We getting our live stream out a little later this month than we had planned, but we had some things come up that were hard to work around.
We have a lot of stuff going on. But like I said, I mentioned that earlier, and I was like, when do we not? So I've got a production of Much Ado About Nothing coming up first 2 weekends of July. And I have a lot of lines. I saw Sid bought tickets.
Yeah, for the brunch showing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hello, Sid. I saw your name on here.
Blue Hawaiian. I already gave my review of it.
Okay.
It's got that cheap fake cocktail taste.
Cheap plastic cocktail.
I didn't even look to see. It doesn't have any nutritional information on it.
Oh, You can't do that. You need to have no sugar.
Well, I mean, the little bit that would be in it wouldn't be that bad. All right. Are you doing your own thing?
I'm gonna do a version of your painting.
Okay, fair enough. All right, guys. So I'm gonna show you guys I've kind of got this new little. I don't know if it's not a new technique, but it's a way of explaining how we're gonna soften these clouds up and make them look more cloud-like without being like stressed out. So, first of all, you're just gonna accept that you did fine on the painting on the clouds. You're gonna do it right now. I did fine on these clouds. That's it. No worries. So you guys did a great job. Now let's go ahead and do it. All right. I'm gonna take my smallest brush. This is gonna be kind of a two-step thing.
Terry is coming with where?
To Much Ado.
Oh yeah, very cool.
And I suggested, I don't know if our friends are hosting 4th of July.
Yes, they are.
I suggested that Terry and Sid could probably tag along if they wanted to.
I think so.
I think they would both enjoy our friends. All right, so I'm just going to take some pure white. Since they're already going to be out this side of town, it'd be better than trying to scramble home. All right, or maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I'm just going to take some white. Just kind of loosely highlight. Just do a line. Then I'm going to take like my number 4 brush. Just dry. This is the game changer for you guys. And just soften the side. You can kind of soften both sides a little bit. You can add some little ripples. But don't fill it in. Let it be a little bit blotchy. I bet you Terry and Kaz would get along extremely well. And Sid as well.
Yeah.
Kaz is one of those people.
Really nice.
Kaz is a good friend of ours, and she is one of the most wonderful people. I feel like wonderful people keep finding their ways into our lives, and we just need to pay attention to that.
The universe is guiding us.
We had some fairly toxic people for a long time, and we're moving past that. We have been for some time. Now we're playing makeup. All right. So I'm going to keep doing it. Let me zoom out so you guys can see that.
Is this an iPhone charger? No, that's not. Do you have one here? You probably don't.
I do.
Where is it? If not, I can get one out of my car.
It might be better if you get one out of your car. Because it's kind of plugged in.
Oh, okay.
Way over there, and I could go get it, but it would be a little bit
That's okay. Yeah, I'll get one in a few minutes.
Now I'm going to do a little bit. One of the things that's good to do when you're doing this technique is maybe don't do the whole area. Just kind of do some pockets, like maybe our light's coming from over here, so it's going to kind of hit some spots. Oh, here comes the toxic one. I'm just kidding. Daniel, you've been probably the best friend I've had for maybe in my entire life, honestly.
The longest lasting. Okay, let me run and get my charger real quick.
And we met on the internet. No, it's true. We did. Our mutual love for the Portland Trailblazers. Computer keeps glitching. I don't know what's going on. All right. Just going to soften these up. And it's kind of important sometimes to kind of soften the edge out into the sky too, so it's not just like this hard outline. That's not a bad smell, honestly.
soap and witch hazel and Sanoderm.
I used to love I think Dead Gods, that's the name of the shop. I think they use Pine Sol too.
Yeah.
That might make our lights flicker. I don't know. We're good. Okay, we're good. Oh, well, tell me about your odd news when I get home. I want to hear about this. At one point in time, Daniel and I were actually going to start our own podcast called The Happen Chili Show. And it was actually Clint was going to be part of it too. Rest in peace, Clint. Miss you, buddy. All right, so there, we've done a little bit. We just added some edges. That works good. He wanted to be the silent one, so he was like on the the Tom Green show, the guy that sat in the window with a cup of coffee the whole time and never said anything.
Well, he still could do that.
Clint, he would have to be like Force Ghost Clint, which would be weird because he's a Batman guy. So Clint did have an amazing sense of humor. All right, so I'm going to kind of do the same kind of thing, but I'm going to be a little bit bolder. Up in here, but not up in here, sorry. Whenever you do clouds, you guys, I think it's really important to think what you're really doing is you're adding texture. So what I'm doing up in this corner is we kind of had a little lighter area, and I'm just adding texture and edges. This blue Hawaiian thing is awful.
Oh, really?
You want to try it?
Yeah.
Take a little sip of it.
It doesn't look promising.
It's not.
It tastes like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. It tastes like watered down sunscreen, like a suntan lotion.
It does. I haven't ever tasted that, so I'll take your word on it. But
I haven't either, but it tastes like the way suntan lotion, coconut suntan lotion smells, but without like the good part.
Right.
That's terrible. 1 out of 5 stars.
It's 10% alcohol though, so 1.5 stars.
Not worth it.
It's $1.99.
That is really bad.
Remember getting an energy drink?
It tasted like a pine cone.
So there's a coffee shop near in Sherwood that is a coffee shop by day and a bourbon bar by night.
And it's owned by a pastor.
And I love Kevin. Honestly, Kevin is, I love Kevin. He just loves everybody. He supports everybody and everything for who they are. And he makes wicked cocktails. Like really good. But one of their coffee drinks that they have that I have to go in every once in a while just to get it, they do a fir latte. F-I-R.
Good thing it's not the other way.
Yeah. And it is literally, they make a fir needle simple syrup, and then they put fresh growth fir needles in a pepper grinder and do a quick little grind of it over the top. And it is like, I got it on a whim. I'm always that guy that's like, if I see something weird on the menu, I'm like, I'll try it. I will try it once because it's not going to kill me. And it's one of those that I just, once in a while, I got to go in and get it. It just hits the spot.
Well, you can make like a Sprite tasting cocktail from pine needles.
A what?
A Sprite tasting, not cocktail, soda from pine needles.
Pine needles are really good for you. Right now, the coffee shop right behind us has a meadow flower latte that has chamomile and can't remember what the other ones are. And you got to get it with oat milk. I've tried it both ways, but the oat milk is the way to go. The new fellow there named Matt.
New fellow.
Came up with it. Meadow.
I thought he said metal flower too. At
Meadow.
First. Metal flower cocktail. Woo! Yeah.
What would be in a metal flower cocktail?
Heavy metal.
Blood. It's got a little bit of an irony aftertaste. A lot of welding bits. Oh, I was thinking like heavy metal, like music.
That's what I was thinking.
With hints of leather and blood.
Not leather, patent leather.
Actually, the metal though would be right, because like being a person who plays guitar, when you play guitar, if you haven't changed your strings in a while, the oxidation from the strings will get on your fingertips, and it will definitely, if you go eat some
terrible.
nachos later, you will definitely pick up the flavor.
If not the flavor, the smell for sure.
The smell for sure, and it is it's not a good smell. It just smells like, yeah. By the way, Jenny, I have decided that as part of the goal-setting process of life and keeping yourself motivated, it is time for a new guitar. Now, I understand right now is not the right time. But I started learning how to play some Van Halen songs the other day, and I'm like, you know what? I don't have a guitar with a whammy bar. So that needs to change.
Hard eye roll.
That's all right. It'll be like, Prima's going to be so abundant, it won't matter. All right, guys. I'm going to take a little bit more white now. We're going to start working on this tree here real quick. Wait, what are we looking at? 42. Oh, geez. This is dragging. Just going to soften this sky up. There we go. Now we're talking. If you go over the tops of your trees a little bit, totally fine. All good. I think that, Jenny, we need to go do a road trip and go see the Bristlecone Pines in person. What do you think?
Sometime, yeah.
Oh, you never put a date on it. I didn't say like next week. Are we working all weekend?
Well, I am tomorrow morning at 8:30, and then teaching tomorrow night's class on the river sunset painting.
Then we have a class on Sunday too.
And then Monday,
Set painting.
set painting.
That won't take that long though.
No, not with a bunch of people there.
Jenny has a new second job, cake decorating, or baking in general, I should say.
Well, it's kind of like just shop help at a bakery. Where I'll be helping baking. I'll be cake decorating because I have 2 years experience in a bakery doing that. And it's just kind of fill in. So when somebody's on vacation or somebody's sick, so that kind of schedule works out really well for me, like to work around bingo classes and stuff.
Yeah. Cool. I'm just waiting for this to just kind of set up a little bit. Let me bring the original in. You can see it's pretty close. I got a little bit more detailed in that top left-hand corner, and that's fine. You don't need to. You can see by the original it doesn't have to be that way. But like usual, the new one's more intense and bold. Are we putting paintings in the show? No?
I don't know. It might be a good idea to have some ready in case we don't get the turnout that we want.
Yeah. Oh, that was awful. That was terrible.
Why'd you finish it?
Because I paid for it. All right.
$1.99.
Yeah. No, I think it was more like $2.99. Now, this is much better. For those of you who like to have a beverage that gives you maybe a little bit of buzz, not a lot of, but you like something that's not like a White Claw. Say it right now. Hard Mountain Dew. It's good. Tasty.
And it has 0 sugar.
0 sugar. I think it's got some calories, but not much. Like
100 per serving.
Maybe, yeah.
Not 10, 100. It's like 100 per serving.
But it doesn't have that weird. Oh, it's 100. Yeah. No, 100 calories per 12-ounce serving. This is a 24 ounce. Okay. But it tastes good. Kind of sweet. It's totally barbecue beverage. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Refreshing. It's not beer. All right, let's start working on our Bristlecone Pine. So let's bring it in. So the one thing that's really interesting, and I highly recommend if you guys are working on this, pull up a picture. Look them up. There's lots of pictures of them. They are really, really gnarly and twisted, and
they're kind of like a fantasy movie tree.
They're crazy. Like every branch is like this big like whole thing that twists and turns around, and that's probably the hardest part about painting them is, like you have to kind of really think about them 3-dimensionally. So you have to think about it more like a sculpture than a painting. So it really.
Daniel said it looks like something from Evil Dead.
Oh, totally, 100%. It's like one of the. Let's go see them within the next 5 years. Let's do it. We can take the trailer, leave the kids home to watch. No, we'll take the dogs with us. Just you and I. Let's take the trailer and go. Maybe Hayden can come. Greta's going to have a job, so. Or Hayden, we can leave Hayden here to run Primo while we're gone. We haven't done like just a husband and wife trip in forever. Anyway, definitely look up some pictures. What I really wanted to do with this painting is I wanted the background to feel cooler. And the foreground, and because I wanted this to have some warmth to it, but not so like crazy warm, just some warmth to it. But really, if you really look at it, there's a lot of just like fun texture. So what we're gonna do first is we're just gonna start out. Let's use like our number 8. No, I don't. I'm good. Here's my number 8. I don't want to use pure black. You guys know I'm not a big fan of doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix together my dark blue, my red, and my sienna, just about equal parts. And we can always darken things up, so it's not like it's a big deal. But I'm going to start out pretty thick, kind of really twisty. For some reason that keeps doing that. I don't know what's up with that. It totally, you know what's funny? It totally looks like the trees that were in the Evil Dead, the musical that we went to.
Yeah.
So these are really like kind of bonsai-like. I think Daniel, you mentioned that. Daniel oftentimes gets previews of the paintings. And it is. It's kind of this twisted, just kind of hanging on. Again, look at pictures. This is not the kind of tree that you can really just like be like, I'm just going to make it up. You could, but I think having a reference to understand what it is that makes this tree so unique and interest. It's like the Boab trees?
Baobab?
Baobab trees. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's like, unless you see a baobab tree on a regular basis, look it up. It's just a smart idea. So I'm going to switch now to my smallest brush because I've kind of just got this kind of...
What have you done?
Oh, no!
It's a person. It looks like a person standing back there.
To everything turn. All right, that's gone. We're good. But just getting this general shape with a bigger brush is good. I'm now going to really focus on like just adding some crazy little branches, and so I like the smaller brush. These things are really crooked and jaggedy. They are very much like, they're not, aside from the main trunk, they're not super twisty. I mean, there's definitely twists to them, but they're more gnarly. Does that make sense? And something to think about is like every one of these branches, as it comes around, it doesn't just come out of the trunk. It wraps around the trunk is what it feels like. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like the tree we did in Dagobah.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Where the roots and everything are just really exaggerated. There's a lot of choppy, broken. I mean, if you think about like this particular tree, if this is the oldest one, it's 5,000 years old. It's not going to be a lot of long branches left. And you think about it, it's like, you think like I know like we've had a lot of crazy forest fires and stuff in California, which is where these are. We're not in California, but these trees are.
They grow in Utah too, I read.
Kind of probably along.
But there's that forest over in like eastern central California.
Yeah.
Over by Mammoth Lakes area, I think. Not far.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think that's.
I
could be wrong.
I started looking it up, but you think about it, like the wind and everything. I mean, it's like the branch is going to break off. It's just the way it is. And if you look at the pictures up close, it's like they don't have bark. Did you see the neighbor with his Austin Mini out there?
The red one?
No. He's got like an old, like, I don't know if it's an Austin, but it's like this old, like probably from the 70s or 60s, little tiny thing that he was driving today.
Is it red?
No, it's green,
okay.
like olive green.
Nope, I saw him driving a red Mini Cooper.
Oh, he drives that I think that's his daily driver.
That looks like a rhino with antlers.
Kind of does.
That's what Daniel said.
No, you're not wrong. I kind of hate that phrase.
What phrase?
The "you're not wrong."
Why?
It's like a double negative. Not wrong. It's like a way of, it's like a weird compliment.
Maybe you're overthinking it.
I'm not. There's one person in particular that uses that term a lot, and I'm not a fan of that person.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'll just say there's a cooking spray that's very similar to name.
Oh.
But that's like, I've noticed that a lot of people use, I think that's their cop-out way of complimenting people, is saying you're not wrong, instead of saying, hey, that's a good point. What?
Mulva?
Mulva? Melba toast, okay. Oh, Seinfeld reference. Okay. Wasn't ready for it.
How's this month flown by so fast?
I don't know. We're halfway through the year.
I don't think we're quite halfway through the year.
Well,
Because July 25th is exactly 6 months till Christmas, so we're not halfway through quite yet.
well, we're going to be in the
You're
sixth.
exaggerating, Paul.
We're going to be at the 6th month. And June 21st is the equinox. I mean, the solstice.
It might be the 21st or the 22nd. I've noticed it sometimes changes.
Okay, either way.
Mm-hmm. I have us doing another art show.
Are we hosting? Are we participating?
Oh. I have to think of a theme for it. Summer solstice.
In August?
June, I think.
What's that? We have a show opening in...
Maybe it is in August.
It's got to be in August.
Yeah, okay, so it's not summer solstice.
No.
It's probably fall equinox or I don't know, I need to look it up.
Just making things up. I want this one to have a little bit more height to it. Cool thing about these trees is they're July 2nd, Jenny. That's halfway through the year. There you go. That's exactly what she meant to say.
Sure, that's exactly what I meant to say.
You're not wrong, Jenny.
Good one.
I've finally come to grips with the term, I appreciate you. That always has weirded me out for a while. Like when people say that, appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh. I'm used to people saying, I appreciate it. I appreciate what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, oh, that's so personal. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it now. Growing every day, everybody. Growing every day. To realize if I don't want to be a boomer, I accept appreciate you.
I realize I'm very tired.
So we are not going out for drinks.
just hit me in the last hour.
Sitting in a tattoo shop playing Switch while Greta gets tattooed is just exhausting, isn't it?
I didn't play Switch. I actually worked on designing social posts for Much Ado.
Portland area peeps. Much ado about nothing. I don't want to say starring, but playing a significant role, yours truly. All right. That's fair, Daniel. Somebody backed into him in a parking lot, and she stayed and waited.
Well, that's nice.
You know what's funny?
That's unusual.
So Daniel drives a Subaru,
Mm-hmm.
and he got backed into at a parking lot. When I went over to my sister Terry's house this past weekend, she also has a Subaru, and she got backed into as well.
Somebody has it out for Subarus.
Subi whoop! And but in her case, it was a guy who had pulled too far forward to be able to read the street sign, so he backed up.
Jeez.
And he was like a landscaper with a landscaper trailer and stuff.
Did she probably honked? I didn't know about that. Somehow I
It was like
that.
She showed me the damage. It was like a little paint chip about 1/4 inch. So now, in looking at that, that would be a good vehicle for the Greta, but probably black. No, Greta wants orange.
Black and orange.
Yeah.
Whatever says Halloween the most.
We can make that happen. Get an orange one, and we'll get it wrapped to look like a pumpkin.
A jack-o'-lantern. Wow, only 9K miles old.
Well, see, now Greta wants. I would probably go with the Cross Trek for Greta.
Greta's ultimate car would be an orange Mini Cooper.
Actually, that's not true. Greta's dream car is a 1956 Ford Thunderbird.
Yeah, but we're talking about things that can
Like
be
realistic?
obtained.
Yeah. All right. That said, what we're going to do is we're going to now zoom out so you can see me mix. That's good. You see me mixing my palette. Now I'm going to paint it dirty. All right. By the way, that was more of a Weird Al Yankovic reference than the original. So, all right. So I'm just basically mixing together raw sienna, a little bit of our phthalo red, and my brush is a little bit dirty. That's okay. Add a little bit of white for some substance. And I think I'm going to use my number 4. This is where this painting gets a little bit tricky. Because you really have to think about the way things flow. So I'm going to start, let's start with this branch right here. This branch, it's too light. So I'm going to mix up a little bit more sienna, a little bit more phthalo red. There we go. And it's just going to kind of cut across like so. This one's going to do the same, but maybe it's going to cut back. There is a knot that comes across here. So I'm just looking for things that make me feel like there's some movement. Like this is going to, and sometimes they dead end into each other. It's totally fine. This one's going to come around and it's across like that. Maybe there's some additional little supporting. And all we're really doing at this point is building in texture. What?
Sienna said sometimes it feels like I'm the only one talking. I hope my present doesn't keep others from chatting. I think they're painting, probably.
Could be. Now you can use your smallest brush too if you want to have a little bit more control. It's totally fine. But you don't want to blend any of this out. You want it to just do its job.
They're very twisty. I was looking at pictures. Like they spent years and years perfecting their little art form of growing twisty. Crazy.
It's crazy how twisty they are.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy that they're still alive, even though they look like a tree that died long ago.
Now, if you guys are doing this and you're like, you can, like, you feel like maybe you did too much with this light stuff, you can always come back and redo your dark color. In fact, we probably will. I think that's the one thing that I think gets a little bit overlooked in the creative process of painting. And I'm going to toss my boy, Mr. Ross, under the bus a little bit here.
Leave Bob alone. He's not here to defend himself.
I know, that's all right. I think he would be fine with me saying this. One thing that Bob did is he really, kind of enforced this idea that you can do a painting in 30 minutes. Like you can do a perfect painting in 30 minutes. I don't even think that he did that. Because what did they say? He would paint it once.
To develop it.
Paint it on air, and then paint it a third time for basically the thumbnail.
Or to sell it, I think.
Or
I can't remember.
I don't know. He didn't sell his paintings.
I can't remember what he painted a third time.
But he painted every painting 3 times. That much I do know. And I think the thing is so if you were going to do a painting like this in a half an hour, you would definitely need a plan. You would need to have worked through it so you knew where you were going. Your nephew just finished college. How can that be? I don't know. I've got a son who's turning 25 in September. How can that be? By the way, our son and Daniel's nephew are 1 year apart to the day.
Wow, to the day. Crazy.
Wait. Okay, so the third was painted for the books. His instructional books.
Okay.
Yeah. So, wait, Daniel, are you talking about your nephew Matthew? Okay. Yeah, there. Yeah, just a. Yeah. Mr. Fact Check McGee. Or should we call you Fibber McGee? And he's like, what are you talking about? All right, so I'm going to mix up a little bit more white. I'm going to add a little bit more raw sienna because I want to warm this up, but I don't want it to get, maybe add just a touch of blue. There we go. I don't want this to get too bright, but I'm just going to start. Ooh, that's pretty bright. Let's tone it down a bit. There we go. So I'm really thinking about, like, there's some areas that are just going to have bolder highlights. Not everywhere. It's like our highlights are, our sun's coming from this side, so it's these areas that are just picking up a little bit more of that bright sunlight.
Matthew's nickname Bartholomew. Pretty funny.
I was listening to a podcast today, and these guys, they're, you know, the guys I've told you about before that have a really funny sense of humor that you would get. And they
You
were,
mean the golf podcast?
the
You're
golf
always trying to get me to
No.
listen to.
I've given up on that. You would think it was funny, though, because it's very little about golf. But they were discussing the fact that one of them thought that the Transformer Optimus Prime, for some reason, he always thought it was Optimist.
Hey, why not? He was a good guy with me.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I support that.
Daniel, I know you're not. You would actually think these guys were pretty hilarious because I think their humor is right in your wheelhouse, even though it's about golf. But it's about golf, but kind of not about golf. It's
Paul will always be pushing golf on all of us.
It's true. There's a reason it's been around for 500 years.
Floptimus Prime. That's what I feel like right now. Floptimus Prime.
So then they were trying to determine what the opposite of Optimus Prime would be, and I think it was, what did they come up with? I can't remember. It was pretty funny. I was laughing.
I'm trying to remember if there's anything I had wrong, like for a really long time.
I'll be your big suburban.
Yes, I had that.
I know that you did because you've told me that before.
Mm-hmm. Instead of beast of burden, big suburban. That was like as a kid. I got that.
Ooh, that guy a little bit wonky. I mean, there's always going to be music ones because, musicians aren't always the best at.
Pessimistic minor. That is Hayden humor right there. Like Hayden will call Advil Subtractville. So funny. He has such a silly sense of humor.
Hayden's sense of humor is kind of like Kip's.
Kip doesn't have a sense of humor.
Your mom goes to college.
No, he doesn't have. I never found Kip very. I mean, I thought his character was funny, like the way it was portrayed, but I didn't find him funny.
That's true. Nobody in that movie has a sense of humor. I'll have to. I'll go back and listen to the podcast because it was like, it wasn't pessimist because they were talking about optimist at this point. So it was the the opposite of optimist. So it was like, what was it? I was like, oh, I'll have to look it up. I'll send it to you, Daniel. It was pretty funny. It was like, what was it? Inefficient something. I don't remember. It was funny though. I was laughing. All right, so I've kind of got some really good, cool looking contrast. So you really want there to be a lot of contrast while you're doing this part. I'm just going to take a little bit of some plain raw sienna just to kind of add some warmth to it. They actually, the wood on them is fairly warm. You know, it's not like this really washed out, sun washed like a dead tree would be. It's actually,
some of it is sun washed, but some of it has like burnt sienna,
almost like mahogany kind of tones. Yeah, it's very stripy.
I'll never be your big suburban.
You know, a big suburban would actually be really nice. I hate to say it, I'm kind of getting over the 20-year-old Honda. Might be time for an upgrade. Might just be a new Honda, but...
What's wrong with a Honda?
I mean, I would totally get another one. Just the new version of it. I don't need to, like, you know, what?
Megatron would be minor trough. Pat McGee over here.
Okay, now, Daniel, now you're just rambling. Ramble on. How's the code red?
It's good, actually. I just keep forgetting to it. It's going to be totally full when we leave.
No, the Mitsubishi Outlander. No, I don't. They put unnecessary chrome on it. I've looked at it. It's a good vehicle. Like, as far as mechanically, runs good, looks very nice and comfortable. They put so much extra chrome on it. It seems unnecessary. No, whatever I get, I'm going to be honest. It's either going to be a Honda or a Toyota. Not knocking Subaru, they just don't have the right vehicle for what I want.
If you get a Subaru, you have to put a coexist sticker on the back.
I have to get a sticker that says my other car is a broom.
Yes.
When Daniel comes over next month, I'm totally going to sneak out and put that sticker on his car. No, I actually like Subarus a lot. I actually like the Outbacks.
We are no longer friends.
But the only problem is our family needs are a little bit different. I got to think about taking 2 dogs with us anywhere we go with it.
Hey, you could be like my dad growing up. I don't care if I have a family of 5. I'm getting a Datsun 240Z that fits 2.
I'm getting a Volkswagen Bug and making the kids sit on a milk crate in the back seat.
We had that for a while.
You did. Didn't you have a stool? Isn't that what it was? It was
Yeah.
like a three-legged stool that your dad put between the two seats in the front.
Yes.
And your brother rode on the three-legged stool between your parents.
There was a Volkswagen we had that had no back seat, so I was literally laying on the floorboards. The oily black floorboards of the car.
No, Daniel, I'm with you. I actually like the new Volvos. But I've also read the Consumer Reports, and I've read steer clear. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. They're like one of the least reliable vehicles.
That's my brother-in-law. His car with 3 kids and a wife was and is a Camaro. So we had that too. We had a 1971 and a half Camaro.
We did too.
And all
but we also had a Vista Cruiser
drove
too.
to Disneyland in that car from Portland, Oregon.
We had a forest green Vista Cruiser with wood panel. It was like as
But at least
it was as close
your whole family.
It was as close to the Griswold Mobile as possible.
That's pretty funny.
But I also remember, you know what was great about the Vista Cruisers is they had the rear-facing back seat behind the back seat.
And a moonroof. Sid said a moonroof.
Yeah. But I remember going camping in the Vista Cruiser and just riding it. We took the cats with us. I don't know why we took the cats with us, but we had the cats with us. And I remember one of the cats like bit a fishing hook.
What?
Yeah. We used to go tow our tent trailer.
What wizardry is this?
With the Vista Cruiser. No, wagons are essentially what SUVs are now. Or crossovers, I should say. All right, so we're getting close to done, guys. We're having too much fun. What time is it? Oh, we're doing great time-wise. So I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can get the full scale. You know what I thought would be a fun painting? The octopus tree.
Oh, I think we talked about that before on here.
With like a real like misty, foggy.
You do that, and I can do the Tilly Lighthouse. Isn't it called Tilly?
Terrible Tilly, yeah.
Why is it called Terrible Tilly?
Because so many people died making it.
Oh, that's right. And it's supposedly haunted. So we'll do Terrible Tilly with a
cursed
ghost.
and haunted.
Little ghost at the top.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Your Mercedes had what, Daniel? Oh, the rear-facing seat.
Interesting.
I remember, like, one of my friends, they had I don't know what it was, but it was like a station wagon, and it had the rear-facing seat. And we didn't even use the back seat. We always sat in the back with the rear-facing seat. My friend Todd had that.
Why am I not surprised? From what they sounds like a car their family would have.
I mean, hold on. Just because your family never had appropriate family cars doesn't mean every family didn't. Like, you go back to the 70s and 80s, an appropriate family car was a station wagon.
Growing up, I would have loved that.
With seat belts.
We did not have seat belts. We didn't have seat.
Yeah. You had a 3-legged stool and a milk crate.
As I got, it's funny because as a kid, you just don't even like think twice about it. But as an adult, I'm horrified. As an adult with children, I'm horrified.
It's like, you wanted us to die.
Father! How could you?
All right, so I'm going to mix up a highlight color. And I know it's hard to see. Ooh, saboozle. Okay. Little bit, mostly white, little tiny bit of raw sienna. You can add a touch of our Phthalo Red. This is really light. Oh, you guys, so something was really cool. Right around the corner from us, I've just noticed, just opened, is a classic car dealer. And all the vehicles are inside, but they did a bunch of the supporters and friends and stuff did this rally the other day, and they went to the local senior center. And so they have a bunch of these old cars were parked, and they were like Packards and old Cadillacs, and there was even like a really old like
Edsel.
Bentley and an Edsel. And
They were all like pristine condition.
just
too.
perfect. And later that day, Hayden and I went to go somewhere. Maybe just home. No, we had to. Remember where we went?
You guys went to get lunch
Oh,
because
late
Hayden
lunch.
didn't have
Yeah, late
any
lunch. And
bread.
you know that the seafoam green Chevy?
Yeah.
We were behind it
Oh,
at the
nice.
stoplight because it was leaving. And then I remembered old cars smell like gasoline.
Yeah.
Always. All right, so this really light color, I'm just going to use it very conservatively. Like, old cars are really cool and neat looking, but they always stink. Why does it keep doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. Pipe smoke's not a bad smell, Daniel. My dad used to smoke a pipe on occasion.
Was it Gandalf?
He had this like little like cherry wooden box that he kept
Tobacco
his
box, yeah.
He had a couple pipes. I would do it, but I'm not a millennial. No.
Don't be dissing millennials. They had it rough. We were almost millennials.
We're like what they would call
Xennials,
Xennials. Yeah, we were kind of like. I gotta be honest. I actually kind of relate to millennials better than I do a lot of Gen X. Like, I don't feel like I need to go on social media and go, I'm Gen X. I'm Gen X. I drank from a garden hose, and my parents never knew where I was.
But somehow I managed to always come home at 6 o'clock for dinner.
Kind of a weird flex, don't you think? Sid, are you a boomer?
Are you a baby boomer? You're like a young one.
You're like right on that. Right on that edge.
Living on the edge.
63, okay. The tropes about Jack. I rode a bike with no supervision. I chewed up my shins on the pedal. Okay, I did that. You know the pedals on bicycles back in the day?
Ugh, they were terrible. You just like miss the pedal and you're going to pedal down. For some reason you miss it. And it's like, there goes the shins.
I'm just going to, like, I wanted to throw a little disclaimer on all this. The whole, like, generational battle, you know, every generation thinks they're better than all the generations after them. That will go on forever. And we all evolve generationally. So, yes, you're right in some ways. You've learned more than the last generation. But the next generation has learned more than you have. So, just chill out a little bit. It's okay. And actually, honestly, if you're Gen X, I'm just going to say it, and you feel like there's something wrong with millennials or Gen Z, it's your own fault. You were supposed to raise them right.
Okay, enough of this.
Ha! But it's true, isn't it? I just offended people. I offended people. That's okay. So let me bring my original back. Let's see what's different. So the tree is a lot bigger in the new one. And that's good. I actually kind of wanted the tree to be bigger in the new one.
That's convenient to say.
Well, I feel like it kind of was. It needed to be bigger.
Every painting of Paul's. This new one turned out really high contrast, but I actually like it better.
So when you paint something twice, isn't it fair to say that a lot of times you make adjustments?
Yep. A lot of old paintings I'd like to make adjustments to. I came across a file day before yesterday of really old original paintings that I must have thought I had hidden away from myself on my computer, deep in a file within a file within a file within a file. And I was like, oh Lord. Eye bleach. They were so, like, just the originals when we were figuring out what we could teach people and what people could do, and they were not good. I'll just say that.
There you go, Daniel. You're absolutely right. You don't need to tear down someone just to build yourself up. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're just tearing down people for the sake of tearing down people and you're not actually building yourself up, though? Is that all right? Okay, just checking. No, we just need to get out of the habit of tearing people down. It's funny. Do you remember Ricky Rackman? Headbangers
MTV?
Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was bald.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking.
You're thinking of Matt Pinford.
Okay, Matt Pinfield.
Pinfield, yeah. Ricky Rackman had the big hair. And I've seen him on, he's been popping up on my Instagram reel. And he's like made this like conscientious effort. He's like, I just like, putting other people down does nothing to benefit my life. So I'm going to stop doing that. He's done it. He's interacted with, but then it was funny because he was like last week, like a couple days ago, he posted and he's like, okay, so remember that thing where I was like, I'm not going to talk bad about people anymore? I'm going to pause that for just a second. And I can't even remember who he was talking about being just a terrible person. But it was funny because he's like really had made this big long post, like reel, about how it doesn't do anything to make your life better to talk bad about other people.
Mm-hmm.
And
it says more about you.
Yeah, but then he came out, like, it was literally like a week later, and he totally tossed somebody under the bus for being...
Old habits die hard.
No, but he was like, he totally like threw it out there, and he's like, I know I just said all this, but
let me go back on it real quick.
God, who was it? I had to think about it. But he's like, to be fair, then you're Archie. Exactly. Like the person he tossed under the bus afterwards was like, it was for legit reasons. It was not. It was like this guy was like just a terrible human being. But I thought it was really interesting that, he's like really making this effort. And it makes sense. Like the fact that like he's right. Like talking bad about other people doesn't do anything at all to make your life better. God, that's deep.
Davey and I, so, Davey was a BMX biker.
Davey is Greta's uncle.
Still does BMX. Biking. He's 37 years old. He still gets on his BMX bike and does all these tricks. But I had asked him if he ever did skateboarding, because seems like a good crossover. But he didn't. But he knew who all the skaters were. So we were talking about Rodney Mullen. Remember Rodney Mullen?
Oh yeah.
And there was a documentary. He brought up the documentary. I'd forgotten about that. We watched it years ago.
Yeah.
So I pulled up a video for Greta of Rodney Mullen's skateboarding tricks. And it was a really old one where he's got the tube socks and the short shorts.
I think that the thing about Rodney Mullen is like that guy when he talks about.
Well, I think he's admittedly has high functioning or Asperger.
I don't know if
syndrome.
that's true.
I think that he said he did in that documentary.
Maybe.
Or maybe we just assumed once we heard him talk, we're like, yeah, we gotta send who's this way.
But he's also very like emotional about.
Well, Hayden's emotional too, though.
Yeah, but Hayden doesn't ever like almost get like choked up talking about his passions.
I remember him getting choked up in the video. We'll have to watch it again. I think it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
It was really remarkable. But think about that hyperfixation of where he said he got a skateboard and he'd just practice for hours in the garage.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now I gotta look and see. Who was it that Ricky Rackman was talking about?
I remember talking to a student once who had accused me of being mean to her. Spoiler, she blamed everyone of that, and I said, what on earth do I gain from making a 13-year-old feel bad about themselves? Us. Are we finito?
No, not
you've
quite.
got some texture on the ground.
No, we got a little bit to do. We're almost done. So what I want to do first I'm going to take some white and I'm going to brush it in right up here. So we're just adding this bright highlight. You take a little bit of fresh white and just dab it in. And then I'm going to take like my number 4. I'm going to rinse it off here. I'm just going to very lightly pull from that center. Very light. Don't push down very hard. And it's not like I don't really want to do this like big, like intense sun rays. I'm just pulling some little streaks out from the center. Just to soften that up over on that side. And then we're going to do a shadow under our tree. And then we're going to do some other highlights. Let's actually do our other highlights first. So I'm going to switch to my biggest brush. And I'm just going to take raw sienna. Or yellow ochre, whatever you're using, doesn't matter. So if you look at pictures of these trees, they're not really in like grassy areas, they're in like rocky areas. But rocky gravel is kind of a hard thing to paint, so we're not worrying about the texture so much as we are just adding color. And you can kind of softly blend it out up into our background is fine. I don't know why it keeps doing that.
It doesn't like you. Being defiant.
I didn't do anything wrong. Now, I had at one point, like, went in and, like, was like, okay, let's put in, like, more defined, like, light ray reflections and stuff. Or not reflections, but highlights. I'm like, we don't need to do that. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to mix up a little bit of a violet color. This light's coming across here. Like so. Just a little highlight. Or shadow, I should say. And if you guys really want to, like, go for it and just have, go for that next step, by all means, take, like, your number 8. And all I'm really doing, let me zoom in. This is, like, bonus. You don't have to do this. What are you doing?
Scrolling through to find something. I'm done with my painting.
Oh. But I'm just using some of the Sienna. And I'm just adding texture. And this is really kind of an important thing, honestly. There's nothing to it. I'm just dabbing in. Texture. And again, it's really important. It's subtle. But I think texture gets lost a lot, don't you?
Yeah, it can be hard to like adjust if you're an overblender.
Yeah. So I got one streak that kind of comes in here. Maybe you add a little bit of white. You can do this. Look for your streaks. And there's a streak here. It's subtle. You don't want to do too much. Cameras or computers doing weird things. All right. I'm done with mine.
Woohoo!
I'm going to sign it.
Line it up.
Now, I'm going to move my palette. I'm going to move my beverage.
Oh, let me sign mine real fast.
Move.
Oh, I forget.
Zoom out. Zoom out again. Now let's see what Jenny did. Jenny kind of got here late and did her own thing.
I did a Van Gogh version.
You did.
On a tiny canvas.
Well,
I think it's like 8x8.
No, it's
10
10
by
by
10?
10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like square.
Yeah, I love this size canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to, let me just compare to the original. I don't know. Which one do you like better?
I like the tree better on the new one, I think. But
you know what? I forgot to do. I forgot. no, yeah, and
You
pine and needles.
Oh yeah, you do have a few.
Let me just do
bits.
that real quick.
I think I like this tree better, but I think I like
The background better on the first, yeah. So
mainly I like the sky being a little bit lighter over here.
yeah. Okay, so I did put a few little needles on, and all I did was I just used a dark,
Put the needle on the marker.
like almost dark purple. Oh, I should zoom in. And just a couple little spots, and then I take my smallest brush, mix up a little sienna and blue. You could probably actually just do a little bit of sienna on the wet paint. So Jenny, I assume the TV commando will be asleep by the time we get home. Let's start watching Andor.
I was gonna watch The Hunt for Animal Chin.
Well, that's short. All right.
All the talk about skateboarding just reminded me.
So I am going to also do a couple birds. Now, something about birds, you guys. Never use black. I like a nice like dark purple, and I'm gonna try to make them as small as possible.
Don't make pterodactyls.
Don't make pterodactyls. 2. One. Getting pterodactyl-like. I'm gonna do another one over here in this regular sky. There we go. I did think that I did thoughts.
Would have thought.
I did think birds in this particular painting made sense. All right, that's it. Bring Jenny's painting back again. Jenny, I like your painting. Very Van Gogh. You get an F for reproduction.
No, you can tell it's the same subject.
Yeah, just kidding.
If it wasn't
No, but you didn't reproduce this exactly, so that's...
Yeah, I did. It was my version of how I see things through Van Gogh's eyes.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Zip us over.
Okay, this one?
Yeah.
I always forget. Ah!
So, what are you doing?
Hmm?
What's your painting?
Oh, I don't know yet. I will.
When are we doing it?
Over the weekend. Next Friday, I think we have a live class or something. So it might have to be on. Well, we'll figure it out because Thursdays you have rehearsals. So thank you, Marlene and Daniel. Thank you very much. It was fun. It was fun to do a nice little challenge. I mean, your paintings alone are a challenge, but I thought since I got here late, I'm going to do something slightly different.
I actually, I'm actually kind of the opposite of you.
So?
You said you like my tree and the new one better.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like my background and sky in the new one better, but I like the tree in the original better.
So I think I like the size of the tree in the new one, but I can see the tree in the original is a little more detailed in a different way, a little more rugged. Do we need to switch back?
No, it's all right.
Too late. Yeah. I like the size of the new one, but I like the more rugged highlights on the OG one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Anyone who wants to post their paintings on our Facebook page?
Yeah.
Our Facebook group page. We love seeing them, and I think it's been a while since anyone has posted anything other than us. So, it is nice to to see you guys are painting, but I also understand that sometimes there's not a lot of time, or
I'm
you didn't get
squinting
it
so hard.
finished. Eye appointment soon, Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to be honest, the way my eyes have been changing over the last year, it's a little bit distressing.
Monet.
Yeah, like as an artist, like having your eyesight change so rapidly is a little
Well,
scary.
you did the right thing by making eye appointment.
Yeah.
All right, we will post when our next video is. Hopefully, very soon, sometime this week. Hopefully, we'll see.
We better post sometime this week when our next painting is.
Yeah, we will post sometime this week when our next painting is. But I was saying, I hope, hopefully, the painting is. Yeah. You guys have a great Memorial Day weekend, and enjoy yourselves. Hopefully, have good weather.
Be safe.
Be safe, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, that's the right. No.